What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. It's a special Tuesday edition since we were off for the 4th of July yesterday. Hope everyone had a good time and was safe. But we're here with myself. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. I'm here with Classic Mike over here to this side. And we got our special guest back with us who mocked with us for this special IDP episode. Represent. We got Martin over here with the Dynasty Pylon in the house, part of the Nerd Huddle. And we got Alex, aka the Hustler, 420 Hustler in the house. What's up, Martin? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to get some these grades going. Look overview on how we drafted. But no, I mean I'm doing pretty good overall. Had a good 4th of July. Hope you guys had a good one as well.
Nice.
But yeah, if anything, check us out at Dynasty Pylon. We're doing IDP basically in a dynasty style, and we also have an 18-man guillotine IDP style for beginners. It's kind of low numbers for IDP levels. So if you're interested, it's a guillotine league. So if you're not familiar with that, it's basically points based. So hopefully you get to the top, and if not, you can still just hang around the league and see how well your players do. So yeah,
very nice, very nice. And we got the Hustler in the house. How's it going, Hustler? Tell us about yourself and where we can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so if you go to fantasyfootballhustler.com, that gets you to every link where I'm at. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, got the Facebook group on there as well. Got a Discord chat in there as well. And today's been it's been a lot of hustling. So this is like my third show.
I was gonna say
I've seen you on all day.
And we have 19 best ball drafts that kicked off today.
Nice.
So 9 a.m. today, huh? Right?
Yeah, killing
nice.
It.
Very nice. And gotta check it out, man. Runs an awesome league, over 252 teams. I don't know how you can even manage that. That's just mind-blowing. But I'm sure it's a lot of fun. We go out there and we connect with all the degenerates out there, man. We're just crazy about this fantasy football stuff. So if you like fantasy football, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button, help support the channel. Get Right Fantasy Network, and of course, go follow these guys, 420 Hustler and the Dynasty Pylon. Find them. Just, all the links, everything are in the description. Go check it out. But without any further ado, we're going to grade and rank these teams, man. We had our Friday Night Mocks episode. It was a 12-team full PPR with IDP, man. This was our first IDP mock on Get Right Fantasy. And, of course, we had to have these guys in here. We bring you the experts, man. We're not going to sit here and claim we're pros on everything. I feel like I'm good where I'm at. But when it comes to this IDP, last time I played IDP, it was like Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman were running things. So we bring these guys in here. So let's get to it, man. We got 12 people in here. It was a fun draft. I watched the episode on Friday. So we're going to go through, we're going to break down the teams. We'll rank them for you guys, give our opinions, what we could do differently to help you guys get through and dominate your leagues, man. That's what we're here for. So it's time to roll those sleeves up, as you guys see up there, man. And let's get to work, man. Let's do it. So let's break it down.
Before we go on the first team, I just got to say, this is going to be the future of fantasy football, because, after people get bored of just like the offense only
PSA, let's
go. You get rid of the kickers, you get rid of the, team defense because no one likes the scoring of that. This is what the next evolution is going to be. Like it was PPR, then Superflex, was the next big thing. Like IDP is going to be the next thing that gets everyone kind of changing their settings around.
What up, Dustin?
I Dustin in the house. Absolutely, man. IDP, man. I'm loving it, man. I got my first IDP Dynasty team. Just drafted it. Feeling good about it. I got a nice little contender going on. 40-round draft. I'm in there with them boys. It was an awesome draft, and I'm loving this IDP thing, man. I really am. So let's get into it. So. Which one of you guys, Martin, you want to go ahead and break down the first team here for us?
Yeah. So to my belief, this is Mrs. Dem Boys.
Yes, it is.
So she started off with the 101 at Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Cam Akers, TJ Watt in the 5th, and Darius Leonard in the 6th. So 2 strong IDP candidates right there at the top. And then
Now
she went back to offense with Amon St. Brown, Tony Pollard. Then kind of went on a good IDP run with 3 guys: Buda Baker, Crosby, and Winfield. And this is kind of like where I felt like it was like, what kind of happened here? It was Trey Lance, Mike Gesicki, Williams, Bolton, Watson, and Lockett. So it was interesting to see. I'm not like do we just if I give my grade right now, I didn't like the back end of this. Only because I don't know I don't believe in those quarterbacks right now, especially with Watson's weirdness that's going on in Cleveland. As we all hear about it, Lance, we're not even sure. I have high hopes for the kid, but I gotta wait till he actually plays more than a full game, really. So like
he had a couple
more than 5 of them, to be honest.
He had a couple starts.
I know, but like it was just like it was like whenever Jimmy G was hurt, and then I think he had like 4 or 5, like 3, something like that. I can't really remember, but
he had one game that he just went nuclear, and for a first time guy, and goes 20 25 points. That's why people love him.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
When you have that
consistency still needs to happen for me.
I don't disagree, man. I'm not high on him either.
So, but then, so I'm looking at the IDPs. It was interesting to me. TJ Watt, I feel like she'll put him at the DL. It's very interesting. I would have put that as my DL and then use the other linebackers as a linebacker, because we were doing 2 linebackers in this one. So,
and you don't get to choose, like, I mean, at least initially in the draft, that's how it would be set up in the actual league, though. I don't know why Sleeper doesn't do that when they have the dual eligibility.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to legitimately click on them, like, to find out. Yeah, so, but overall, it was again, I wasn't too hot on this one, to be honest. I didn't like. I think I would have either picked Buda Baker and left it like that, and then maybe got a DB later on in the season and probably produce higher position at running back or something like that, and look for waiver wire at DB due to the fact that it was a redraft league. So that's just how I felt about it.
Nice. And now, obviously, we're focusing here on IDP, so I do want to come to the whole thing. For those of us who are kind of either getting back into IDP or new to it, I want to talk to them and say, when you see a TJ Watt and a Darius Leonard go here in the 5th and 6th round, is that a place when you need to start, thinking about some of those top end defensive players? As obviously points are, different in every league when it comes to defense, but these high value guys are similar to offensive players. And how is that comparison?
Well, a guy like TJ Watt, when you can plug him in at the D line, I mean, it's almost like a cheat code there. So that's one of those things where him and Micah Parsons are always going to be going high. I mean, Dem Boys, obviously he's a Cowboys fan, so went high on extra high on Micah Parsons, but I just feel like this one went a little too IDP heavy. It didn't have to go TJ Watt and Darius Leonard. Definitely didn't have to get Max Crosby in the 10th round when you already got TJ Watt, about to be plugged into your D line. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Lance and the Watson, QB stack either.
But the Watson was an auto pick.
It was an auto pick.
That's neither here nor there, but yeah.
I just mean Lance.
But for anybody out there, yeah.
Yeah, I just mean Lance. I'm not too high on him, but I know there's a bunch of people who'd be stoked, to get him that late as like QB 13 or something like that.
Yeah, they got him real late.
Yeah, this is like a C-. I mean, the running backs really, really weak. I mean, I don't think that the defensive back should be like as deep as the running backs on this team, because you only have to start one DB.
Okay. Yeah. And that is important too, to understand, how many positions, we are starting. So just run through that again, Mike. What was the settings on this one?
Settings were, if memory serves me, 2 linebacker, 1 DN or DL, 1 DB, 1 flex.
Okay.
IDP. And then the rest was 2-2, 2-2-1-1. So yeah.
And we didn't really have a lot of bench. I mean, we had like 6 bench positions.
6 bench. Yeah, I left 1 extra bench for if anyone wanted to double, have like a D back or defensive players their like bench spot or something if they wanted to.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so you'd fill things out, more later, obviously, with these, but yeah. So we'll move on, man. Let's go to the second one here. We had Titans for Life 42. drafting in the 2 spot. I don't know if maybe they thought we were doing a super
flex.
Was
Yeah.
this a super flex? Yeah,
Well,
He said that in the
he
chat.
thought it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he did say it was in the chat.
Yeah.
If it was, nice pick. I QB1 Herbert. I like
Yeah.
it. I love it. That's a hot take. But yeah, so with that said, obviously, I'm sure that's gonna, adjust things here. But how do you think again, more focused on the IDPs? He takes Brooks here in the 7th. As the first IDP, why don't we start from there and tell me how how that part came together. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. Yeah.
Brooks is a savage. He's definitely worth that kind of capital. Jesse Bates and Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams, he's kind of like a cheat code also.
Yeah.
He's a linebacker, but you can put him into your DB spot. So
okay.
I'm going to dock him points, though, for going like Jesse Bates and Quincy Williams, back to back, and then getting curse because you didn't have to get 3 DBs in a row right there. Other than that, I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, Herbert kind of messed everything up.
Right. Yeah.
But
right.
And docking points for the Myles Garrett. Didn't need to get Myles Garrett that early.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, I didn't even see that ahead. For some reason I thought that was like a tight end or something.
Because
I'm getting used to these IDP
No,
colors.
that's like the 6th round. I would have,
right.
me
That's
personally, would have
early,
gotten a linebacker.
Okay, so you want to take a linebacker before a defensive lineman, especially when you have those flex spots and you're starting 2 linebacker spots. Let those defensive linemen fall. Obviously, unless you're getting one of those guys you can plug in that has that dual eligibility, right?
Well, it's really TJ Watt and Michael Parsons. Those are like the only D line that you should be getting over the top tier linebackers.
Got it. Okay. No.
Yeah, they produce linebacker numbers, and it's like you have that eligibility. You typically linebackers are going to get you more points. They're more prone to the interceptions, the sacks, and all that. Like everything a D lineman can do, they can do. Everything a DB can do, they can do. Like because they're right in the middle of the field. So they read everything. So they're more prone to every aspect, every defensive type play. And that's why linebackers are always typically the best guys to get first before you actually focus on DBs or the line.
Definitely. And, and so like, would you say basically the linebackers are like equivalent to those high-end running backs of the defensive side of the ball?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the scoring system, like if you're on Sleeper and you're doing their default scoring, which is IDP 1, 2, 3, some of these top tier linebackers, I mean, they're going to be scoring like low end RB1s, high end RB2s. So it just depends on the scoring system.
Okay. And that's why you're seeing these guys go in the 5th and 6th round. That's when you're able to, get that positional advantage. You're going to maybe be a little weaker on your actual RB2, but you can make up for that defensive side of side of things there. And I know, Martin, you've talked about it, on your show heavily about having that linebacker running back stack, being able to, every time your linebacker tackles your running back, you get that.
It's not really like something I focused on.
No,
but it's interesting to see if you've had 2 a linebacker and a running back from the same division, they're going to run into each other at some point if you're starting them. It's nothing I promote like heavily. Oh, it's a stack.
Right.
It's something interesting. Double points. Because I'm telling you, one time I had Gibson on Wagner last season, and I was getting like 20 something points easy in like within the first half, and it was just because Gibson kept running into Wagner.
Yep.
I was like, dude,
I did that a lot with Henry. Anyone that faced Henry, I pretty much tried to grab. If they were high end, if they knew what, I would always, try to go for it.
Yeah. And the best feeling, I swear, in the world is like your running back just like cracking off like a 10-yard run, then getting tackled by your linebacker.
Yes. Nothing better. I've had games won and lost by those. And the one thing I will say about IDP, and the one thing that kind of gets under my skin that I all my friends talk about all the time is Wednesday afternoon is when they do the stat corrections and everyone sits there and you're trying to figure out if they had that assisted tackle or that, a full tackle. Did they get that, and then all of a sudden you go from winning by 0.5 to losing by 0.5. And I've seen it. I've seen those sways go back and forth all the time.
Yep,
and I swear to God,
dude, it's the best feeling in the world when you win because of that.
Oh yeah.
The worst feeling in the world when you lose because of that. And I've seen it sway on a Super Bowl.
Wow. Championship game.
I had it one year where it was down to my D-back and I was facing this guy and I'm watching the whole game. All I needed was one tackle. And I'm like, and that was just to get 1 point more than the guy that I'm facing. And I'm sitting there watching the game, and every tackle, I'm like, oh, did he get it? Did he get it? Oh, wait. And I go and look at the stats at the end. And the thing is that if you go to different websites, they have different numbers for everybody. You'll go to NFL.com and it has, that he had three solo, one assist. But you go on another one and they say that he had 4 tackles.
2 and 2 or something, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's not official until the NFL gets their official numbers.
Agreed.
And then everything gets adjusted.
That's exciting, man. That's almost like waiting on that waiver wire to go through.
It makes it where you have to make it.
I love that.
It makes it where you have to do well, and you have to have that team do so much better than what you would normally do, just because you don't want to have to worry about that 1 point swing.
Yeah, man. 2-point victories are not safe, and
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
That's awesome. That's a whole nother level.
A single linebacker gets changed.
You got to be a sicko to enjoy that, man. I love it. Oh my
God, I love it. We only do 2.
There it is. All right, man. Let's move it on. We'll move on here to the third team here. As we said, we had Mrs. Dim Boys, and this is the other half. Dim Boys, DC for life. One of the OGs, ambassadors of the channel. Here in the 3 spot goes with Cup, Jones, and then grabs Parsons, which we, like you said, you mentioned it already, a little bit of a reach even for him.
It's a reach. You could have still got him at the 410 at that point.
Okay, so would that be a little more acceptable?
Yeah.
If he got it there, so if those picks were switched right there, if he went Connor and then Parsons, would that be a little more understandable?
Well, I mean, you probably would have got someone better than Connor, at that point. That's almost 2 rounds earlier. If you're looking, I mean, it's the 3-3 all the way to the 4-12.
Oh, that's right. It's
he had Fournette, Akers, Elliott, Gibson. I would have went Fournette.
I mean, maybe Fournette is the only one, so not too bad. I mean, I guess it's not too much of a drop off there, by a little mistake, but that's why we mock early. But again, focusing on the defensive side, he goes with is it Aluakon? Is that how you say it?
We'll say Aluakon.
I say Olakun, but I mean,
is it?
Oh, really?
Is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know either way. Again, that's why we're here. We'll find out officially.
Well, I mean,
we'll have to get him on the
Martin told me Aluakon. I'm sticking with Aluakon.
He was at Atlanta for a very long time, and I watched Atlanta TV, and they were always saying Aluakon.
I was just going to say, I defer to the Atlanta fan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of the best linebackers, particularly in the league, to be honest.
Yeah. I'll take the word for it.
There we go. So
he's one of the best.
Okay, so he's up there, right? So he goes in the 8th round, followed by Bosa, of course, Niners fan here in the house. I like that pick regardless. But in a IDP, I don't know if what he does is really necessarily worth this high of a draft pick, but I'll let you guys decide. And then he goes Adams in the 10th, and then followed by Hamilton. And again, I'm seeing, multiple DBs, which I assume is probably not that great. And then grabs Baker down here late. Go ahead, tell us how Dim Boys did here.
Well, first, so I actually question some of my league mates when they do this double DB thing. Some of them actually gamble by putting their DB in the flex, and they wait for that interception. So before we move on to these other teams, and I'm already noticing it now.
Good point.
Some of these guys put an IDP in the flex. Yes, they're not going to rack up as many tackles as an LB, but boy, if they hit on an interception and take it to the house, you can consider yourself a damn win on that week. It is very hard to get sometimes.
Like a wild card.
Oh, yeah. And that's that gamble you want to do. So here's what I saw what Dim Boys did. Yeah, he got Mike Parsons really early. If he wants, what I'm seeing here is he's going to have him at the linebacker spot. I would put him at the DL spot, not even consider Bosa, and keep Fulsay, Aluakon, and Landry as my linebackers. But it looks like he's going to kind of play with Parsons and Aluakon inside the linebacker spot, and maybe flex Bosa or Landry in there is what I see, or even Adams. But that's what I typically see a lot, putting these DBs at the flex and hoping for that interception and take it to the house. But other than that, though, I would have never gotten Baker at the end. You have enough linebackers there. Again, with Landry, I probably wouldn't even consider him because if you went with Bosa, depending on who else you were high on, but either way, you could have not gone Bosa or not gone Baker. But it's not bad. Bateman, I'm going to the offense here. Bateman, we're all hoping for the best for him. It depends. Essentially, he's what the one there. I think you probably could have gotten someone a little bit better
behind
there.
Andrews.
He's the he's the wide receiver too.
Well, yeah.
Option
so
two,
wide
possibly.
receiver,
Well,
pass
three
catcher,
if
I
you
should
consider
say.
Lamar.
Yeah. So I mean, I would have changed it up a little bit. Again, he got the handcuff with Sanders, which I guess could be good. But if I remember last year, Sanders was gone and Gainwell just disappeared. I don't feel comfortable with that, but hopefully that changes this year. I would love to see a little bit more Gainwell. But again, once Sanders was on, it's like Gainwell's disappeared, like I said. And then could have gotten a different, better running back had Parsons been drafted at a later round. But I like Jones for sure. He's gonna be that biggest weapon, especially since he has Rodgers. So that's that stack right there. So overall, not bad. I just felt like the IDP could have been a little bit more different.
All right, Hustler.
Well, he drafted with his heart, and I mean, wore the color on the sleeve, and like taking Parsons that early, it definitely it messed
I'm gonna bring this up again.
Deep down, we're all Cowboy fans, and so I mean, I like the early picks. I mean, the offensive ones. I mean, minus Sanders, I don't know. I'd probably just avoid him there. Yeah, with having Parsons and Nick Bosa, I mean, those guys are going to like run into each other. So Hamilton, I don't know how much he's going to do like in his rookie year, how much start worthy he's going to be. But one thing that I will say about I guess the free safeties and the box safeties, I mean, both do have the potential to rack up double-digit tackles. Like I'd say outside of the middle linebackers, like those are probably like, depending on who it is, like Jamal Adams, he's not really like a guy who racks up the tackles, but like Jesse Bates, Antoine Winfield, like guys like that. There's, I mean, one of each, a box safety and a free safety. Guys who are going to flirt with, close to like 80, 90 solo tackles, like something like that.
Yeah.
I do like Jerome Baker at the end, but
I do too.
Just because being from California, Jerome Baker, the famous Bong Glass Company, that's my connection to Jerome.
There you go.
I just like him because he's an awesome linebacker that literally just racks up tackles. He's fantastic. He's always a steal, and for him to go that late is incredible to me.
Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Martin, Alex, both of you, how do you guys feel about Jamal Adams? I mean, the whole thing with him and going over to Seattle, and then, he did well for a little bit here and there. How do you guys feel about him this year? Do you think that it's possible that he can stay a little bit healthier? Is it one of those things that he can fit well in this system that it doesn't really matter? Is he still that elite talent? What do you guys think? What about you, Martin?
Yeah, I think so. Look, not all the time these guys are going to have elite years back to back. Sometimes they have off years, and I believe that was just his off year. A lot of moving from one team to another. We've seen him on a different style of defense, and then going to something new. Definitely takes a while to get used to. I mean, obviously he wasn't like the king there anymore. Bobby Wagner was the show, so it was like he there could be roles where they put him in or he had to do so. I still think that he's going to be just fine. That's a great spot for him, to be honest. Not too high, not too low.
Okay.
I'm still on him. I wouldn't even mind drafting him myself.
Okay. What about you, Alex?
Kind of the opposite. I mean, last year they weren't really using him to rush the QB like they did before, and that was kind of like the bread and butter of why he was like drafted as like the number 1 DB, number 2 DB. That's the thing that worries me. Like if they just have him playing more of like the center field role, or like a guy who's like he's in the box, but he's more like covering the running backs, like that's not something where he's gonna make like a lot of money, so to speak, like he was before, like getting those double-digit sacks like that. That's what I want to see him to get back to. So that's why I'm kind of avoiding him just where he's going, because he's gone like top 3, top 4 most of the time in the DB spot.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, my only other question that I had for you guys for IDP is Kyle Hamilton. I mean, this kid is, came out of the draft. I was hoping, but didn't think Giants would go for him. But he was just one of those safeties to me that just looked like he could do it all. He's got the size. He's like a Cam Chancellor. So for
6'4",
me,
220.
Oh yeah, he's an animal. So for me, that's my question is, do you think he can step right into this Baltimore defense after Wick's gone. They're going to be changing up a little bit, not too much, but him coming in, do you think that he can have a direct impact right away?
Yeah, because I think they're gonna switch it up to start running a little bit more like of the 3 safety sets. What up, Crispy? What's going on, dude? A lot of these teams they're adopting like the 3 safety sets with a lot of their defensive packages, because I mean, they still got Chuck Clark, over there also,
Yeah.
and they really love him too. So
And Humphreys.
yeah, so I think he's going to be able to get in there. It's just going to take them running more 3 safety sets, but they traded up to get him. High draft capital, so he should get in the mix right away.
Okay,
I think he's going to be the face of this defense here the next couple seasons. I think,
Right.
without a doubt.
Awesome.
I tried getting him on one of my recent IDP drafts, but it was unfortunate for me not to get him. But he's definitely one of those guys I would really consider if you're in a startup dynasty draft. He's one of those where I would definitely, because that defense needs a leader, and I really was hoping Patrick Queen would have been the guy.
I was just going to say Patrick Queen, yeah.
But he's a talented guy, but he's not taking over, and they need that guy, and I think Kyle Hamilton might be what they need.
Okay. No, that's cool. All right, do you guys want to move on to Martin's team?
Yeah, I'll just sit here and take it.
We'll let Alex break this one down, because we only know so much, but I want Alex to let us know what he got here.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So started off with Najee, Breece Hall, Antonio Gibson, Dak, McLaurin, Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore, Blake Martinez, Eric Kendricks, Dawson Knox, Ramondre Stevenson, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Poyer, Michael Gallup, Daniil Hunter, Devin Lloyd, Robinson from Washington, then Kyle Duggar to round it out.
Very nice.
So, I mean, as far as like the IDPs go, kind of like the perfect like way to do it. Let everybody jump first, and then like got like great value guys, like kind of after that first wave of guys. I waited a little bit longer to that, just to see how long that I could wait. But it was probably because guys like Blake Martinez and Eric Kendricks were going before I wanted to draft them, in this draft. But like that, and then Jordan Poyer is still like one of the best safeties like in the game. Daniil Hunter, super late. We'll see if he has a bounce back year. I'm hoping for it. And
I'm hoping for it too.
Yeah, and he looks good though.
Devin Lloyd's dope. I mean, getting him super late. I mean, one of the only linebackers drafted in the first round, so he should be stepping like right into immediate snaps. And then Kyle Duggar, like the Patriots, they're going to switch to a lot of 3 safety sets this year too. So it's just because of how good he is. They just got to keep getting him in the mix.
Well, they're going to drop probably Jabril Peppers into that hybrid role, probably for linebacker more than likely.
Yeah,
just where he's just not good at coverage anymore. Like he's up there. No, he's starting to get into that realm of Jamal Adams, like that same comp. Like they've always, Adams has always been knocked as that guy that can't do anything in coverage. I mean, what's his interceptions compared to like JPP? I think he has like 1 less than JPP or something like that. Career. It's like, come on, you're a elite safety that got paid elite money, and you're having less interceptions than, actually he has less than Vince Wilfork, if memory serves me. So I mean, if you have less than him, I mean, Jesus, we have an issue. Just saying. I saw someone post that one day, and I just went, oh my God, that's unbelievable.
That's hilarious.
4 career interceptions. That's it.
Yeah, that's insane.
2 did come last year though. That was his best ever.
Doubled it up. Now I just want to ask, obviously I'm sitting back just taking this all in. This is amazing. Is this kind of what you want to kind of do in these IDP leagues? Like you said, kind of build out, just from a construction standpoint, was this just a strategy you were trying here, Martin? Or is this kind of how you kind of draft those, get those running backs in, grab your, value QB if you don't, feel you have another piece there, and then bang out those receivers before you're focusing on that top end, defense? Tell me, just a little bit about that.
All right. So what I did is I definitely want to go running back heavy. Obviously, they drop like flies. We all know this. So
right.
I felt like getting 3 solid ones that are going to be productive I know we're iffy on Gibson, so I went and got Robinson way at the end. I'm surprised I still got him. So hopefully, if Gibson goes down, I still have something to work with. Stevenson still gets worked in. Obviously, with what plethora of running backs that they kind of use. And then for IDP, I was looking at some of these guys going, and I see Blake Martinez and Hendricks are still kind of like lingering in the top 10. So I was like, you know what? These aren't like too flashy. Everyone's not going to go after them. I'll go back to back, get my 2 top 10 linebackers, in my opinion, and then grab one later in the rounds. So that's what I did with Martinez and Kendricks. And then basically, Duggar was my last DB that I got. This guy usually ends up on waiver wires almost every year. So I kind of wanted to be ahead of the pack and already get the guy who's probably going to end up on waivers as first week's waivers anyways, or somewhere towards the beginning of the season if Poyer were ever to go down or something like that. So I have that option. And then as for offense, again, let's talk lastly, receivers and quarterback. Michael Gallup probably won't be there for Dak Prescott, but when he does return, hopefully I get somewhat of a stack. McLaurin, obviously, we know how well he does, and Smith is the number 1 guy there, and we all seen what Elijah Moore does. So that's kind of what I was going with. And Ayuk, I still like him for some reason, and I still think he's going to do fine. But I'm still waiting on what we did on the rookie year. Last year was weird.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a fluke.
No. Yeah, didn't he for the first 6 weeks not put up anything at all?
Shanahan's doghouse, as they say.
I still like him. I don't care. He's still young enough to they'll figure it out. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, there it is. Anything else anybody want to add on that? You guys ready to move on?
No, I'm ready.
All right. So we got the 5th spot here. We got Wilson. Shout out to Wilson27, Ambassador Extraordinaire. Appreciate everything he does for the channel. He came in here, went with Jamar Chase in the 1-5. Don't hate that. Goes with Kyler Murray, though, here in the 2nd, followed by Mark Andrews, then DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, then goes Roquan Smith, Devin White, CEH, Derwin James in the 9th, then goes Isaiah Spiller in the 10th, Burns here in the 11th, Pierce in the 12th, Burks in the 13th. Follows it up with Madison and Henderson, 2 top end handcuffs there, and then goes Thibodeau in the 16th, and then Fant, and then rounds it off with Ridley, which I think was an auto pick there at the end.
I think most of his stuff.
A couple
was
of these,
yeah. Unfortunately, Wilson autoed a lot
connection.
of these.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll just move on then on this one.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything, are there any guys here, especially on the defensive side, that you guys want to point out or talk about there?
Well, I was going to ask about Thibodeau. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys high, low, lukewarm? I know he's been in camp. He's had the mystery hip, minor hip injury type thing. How do you guys feel about him? I know his draft capital was high, as the 5th round pick. I'm a Giants fan. I want to know, just for my own self. Shut up.
That's what you wanted to know. I know this is going. You're a Giants fan.
I wanted to know. I want to know for myself, but I'm also curious about fantasy. I'm wondering how you guys feel. Yeah, for everybody else out there that might be listening, that is a Giants fan. We do have a couple Giants fan in here. Anyway,
for a redraft league, if there's only 2 defensive line spots, he's probably not going to be on my radar. I mean, for a rookie, rookie draft in dynasty, for sure, he's top 3, at the position. But if we're just talking redraft, rookie defenders, a lot of times they're not really getting off to the strongest start, and that's why I don't really want to put my chips into too many rookies. I mean, you sometimes get 1 or 2 linebackers, they got to have the draft capital, though. Nobody was really drafted inside the top 10 at the linebacker spot this year. Usually there's 1 linebacker who stands out, but this year it's Quay Walker, Devin Lloyd. Who knows? They should be starters, but I don't know if they're going to be top end guys right away.
Yeah, my whole thing that I found incredibly odd is that they labeled him as DL, and he's more of an edge outside linebacker. So that's where I was a little thrown off. When we were doing this mock in general, I was thinking of picking him up, not just because of that, but for the fact that he had dual. I thought he might have dual eligibility. I'm sitting there looking at him, and he didn't have it. So I was like, I guess I'm going to pass on him. But
typically the edge guys, defensive ends, are labeled as DLs.
Yeah. Well, they have
Myles Garrett played at edge, plays that D, then he's labeled at DL. Now, what's weird is you can say thing about Josh Allen, for Jacksonville. He has a dual eligibility, but he only plays D end.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It's because when you watch these games, I think what Sleeper does, and I paid attention to this, is are they at the 4-point stance or at the 3-point stance? And a lot of these guys, if they're at the 3-point stance, they put them at that DLLB
that makes sense.
eligibility. So that's what I've noticed. Myles Garrett goes down at the 4-point stance almost every time, even though he plays the same thing as Josh Allen. But yes, Josh Allen has the DLLB eligibility, because if you watch these games closely, Josh Allen is standing. He's at the 3-point stance usually. And it's interesting on how Thibodeau, it wouldn't surprise me if next year that might change, because he kind of plays a little bit of both. So Micah Parsons last year didn't have the DL eligibility.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, until they moved them around to the outside when they had to.
So
I was gonna bring this up.
Well, since he said Parsons, we'll get to it real quick. Dim Boy's in the house saying he was super late. He's gonna have to go back and watch his grade, but he wants to know, he meant to pick Fournette instead of Parsons there. He wants to know how bad did we kill him?
Literally, we said if he would have picked a different running back,
you actually did mention him,
Yeah, we did mention if you picked
Fournette. Yeah. He's been watching long enough. He knows what we're probably going to say better than us.
Yeah, he definitely knew.
Welcome to the show, Dim Boys. Glad to have you here, man. All right, awesome. Well, that's good stuff, man. Love the breakdowns that you guys are giving, man.
Antonio got drunk and passed out.
I was just going to say, he was halfway through.
Yeah, a bunch of his early were autos.
All right, we'll do the same.
Again, anything
here. Yeah.
What do we want to highlight here with these guys? Any of these defensive guys?
I like CJ Mosley and Devondre Campbell. I'd probably a little bit early on CJ Mosley, but he's a Jets fan, so he always jumps for him.
Oh, all right. I can see that though. The guy is a stud though. He was. Oh yeah. I was super shocked that he went to the Jets in general, and then they grabbed Avery Williams and I forgot the other guy, but they had a bunch of really good linebacking, and I sit there, I'm like, they're a decent linebacking core. Then all of a sudden they both tear their ACL or had like really bad season-ending injuries, and I was like, geez. I mean, I would ask about McKinney, but I don't want to make this too Giants heavy.
Go for it, man. For the people,
I'm only asking because he's here. But no, McKinney's an up-and-coming guy. He's an Alabama, safety. How do you guys feel about him?
He's like a DB2, so between 13 and 24 somewhere. And that's where he's getting drafted as like a high end, like DB2, but he's worth it. The thing that sucks, injuries have, plagued him. But
yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
I do like though, CJ Mosley, Campbell, and Jones all have potential of being in the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
CJ Mosley and Campbell for sure. Definitely Campbell. Jones, he's been losing a little bit, but I still believe in the guy. He's definitely he's been in top 10 multiple times a year, but he's getting up there, and he's slowing down a little bit just through injuries and whatnot. But
he's missing
still gets it done.
He has
still gets it done.
Shoulder injury, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, still no word. Does he even come back? Yeah, I was gonna say, is he coming back and playing for Atlanta?
I think it was it wasn't anything super serious. It was to clean up something. So I don't even think he's going to miss any games. He might miss some of training camp.
Yeah, they said that he's going to be missing train. Yeah, I was just going to say he's going to miss. They said he's going to miss at least the preseason, which he would be ready by week 1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but they're saying there's also a rumor that they might be planning on releasing or trading him this offseason.
That's all to
expedite their real building. So do they mean next year?
Next year,
not this year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah, all right. I just I want to clarify, as someone who reads these things here on Sleeper, when we read it as a new IDP player, I want to make sure I'm processing this properly here. All right, good stuff, guys. So Antonio, come back, get us again, man. We know we're a little late, for some guys. But yeah, we'll have you back again, man. Let's go to the next team here. Underdog 314 in the 7th spot. Mike, you want to break that one down?
Yeah. So we got McCaffrey. Then we got Barkley with Travis Kelce. Any other time, everyone would be shocked and happy to get Kelce as the tight end 3 in this particular scenario.
Right.
At first, I thought this was dynasty because of the fact that Kyle Pitts went off the board first. But from what we were told, this was it was an auto pick for Antonio. So then we go Elliott, then Jalen Hurts, Hollywood Brown next as his first wide receiver, going with Mike Williams right after that, Cordero Patterson, and then Devin Singletary with Juju Smith-Schuster, and then Michael Thomas, Sam Hubbard, going with a really late defensive grabs here, which is not a horrible thing. Jarvis Landry, Terrell Edmonds with Khalil Mack.
Tremaine.
Sorry, my bad. I know it's Terrell and Tremaine, right?
Yeah, there's like 3 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say there's 3 of them. and then Tyrann Mathieu at the 16th spot. Good old Honey Badger with Jamison Crowder and good old Marlon Mack to round out the end.
I think you missed Khalil Mack in there in between.
No,
Edmonds
I said Khalil.
Oh, did it? Oh, maybe I missed it. It's all good.
I said Khalil right after I said Edmonds.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys break it down, man. What do you guys think of this team? Alex first. Go ahead.
I expect better out of Underdog because he's in a bunch of the leagues with me and stuff, and he went super late on the IDP. I mean, Edmonds is all right. Khalil Mack, though, I mean, super injury prone. He's always getting hurt, so didn't really give himself any any depth there to anything. I mean, Hubbard's pretty good. Probably could have gotten him later, though, or someone else, who's just as solid as him since you're only starting 1 D line. Honey Badger, I mean, he should be good going over to the Saints, but one of those things, though, I mean, brand new system. Who knows if he mixes in, as good as he did with the Chiefs. But, I mean, on offense, I mean, really solid. Probably could have waited a little bit on Hurts. I'm not super in love with the wide receivers either, but gotta love, I mean, getting Kelsey where he did, and then those running backs. Maybe not Zeke, but
Is your RB3? That's not too bad.
Right.
I take Zeke at my RB3. I mean, and I like the Singletary pick. I'm one of the rare that are on board with him this year, and I'm hoping that he does, really well. I just feel like he has a lot to offer there.
I'm on that Singletary train with you, especially for
anything from Buffalo. Yeah,
you could get. I mean, you're getting him a lot of times later than James Cook, which Cook went earlier in the same round. So
yeah, I mean, for me, the one thing that I just took me a minute to remember, and one of the takes that I don't keep hearing about Singletary is the fact that who did they pick up in the offseason? Like the Bills picked up Roger Saffold, who is probably one of the best run blocking guards in the league. Yeah. And actually is one of the reasons why teams that have had him in the last few years have had ridiculous upgrades. Like, I know Derrick Henry's an animal. He is a clear Yeti, a beast. But at the same time, he has to have the holes to run through to do that because he's a one-cut runner. Devin Singletary is now going to have this guy in front of him with Eric Woodneck, in the center spot. I just feel like that build at that line right now is just going to make him that much better for both Allen and for him. And if you don't think that O-line matters for, your player, you're dead wrong. I heard someone talk, the Whispers were talking about it the other day. There's no real statistical information about it, but at the same time, it's definitely a factor. Definitely a factor.
And shout out to Shane in the chat, who's all the way down.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Stuff, yeah.
I was waiting to bring it up until we had like a lull for a minute.
Knocking it over. Come on. That's one of my buddies who's in the big best ball tournament with.
Oh, nice! Man. Shout out to Shane, man.
Crap.
Welcome to Get Right, brother.
Holy shit! 5
hopefully
degrees
you're a subscriber, but that is insane. 5 degrees. I'm sitting here, it's like 110 over here in Palm Springs. So I'm at the polar opposite, man, of you over there. Jeez Louise. Yikes. Welcome, Shane, man. Appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. So yeah, man. So Martin, what's your take on this team, brother?
He's missing an IDP. That was the first one.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
He's missing an IDP.
We're
could have traded one of those receivers with one of the IDP. He has no one in the flex. I mean, he basically essentially has
drop Marlon Mack and pick someone up on the waivers. That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
In my league, I'm telling you, man, in my league, we have 2 spots for IDP. My whole league will draft a full team, the whole team. Wait until the week of and then drop 2 guys, pick up IDPs.
Yeah, but that's also, I remember in that league they had only two IDP spots.
That's what
right?
I mean. It's only 2 spots.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, for them, they get more value from a guy getting drafted, that they can pick up, that they can go, if I like the idea, if I see something in preseason, whatever, then they can drop them and then just move on, if they don't like them. So I understand it, but I hate it.
It depends on the amount of players too. You said you guys only run with like 2 IDPs, so that's probably like super easy to fill, like just on the waiver wire.
Oh yeah,
right.
It is. It's just annoying. That's all.
Know your settings. PSA. Know your settings. Know your scoring. If you're joining a league, always go check it out first so you know what's what.
I have to give a shout out, Shane. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what's up, man?
We appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate that. Good looking out.
Nice.
Welcome. Appreciate that, man. That's awesome. All right, man. So let's who's next? Oh, we got Classic. You're next.
Yeah, I want to see how my team fared here.
Here we go. Be hard. You guys can be real critical on Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so here we go. He goes. He's in the in the 8th spot. He goes Eckler, Javonte Williams goes Steph Diggs there, Danger Russ there in the 4th. Carlos. Why did I call him Carlos? Cortland Sutton. Who's Carlos? Goes Cortland Sutton. There in the 5th. Then Dalton Schultz. Then grabs my guy Fred Warner here in the 7th. Jeremy Chin, who I know is Martin's guy, there in the 8th. Then follows it up with 3 running backs, Gordon Carter and Rashad White. Then goes who is this? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
That's the other Josh Allen.
There it is. I just picked him up too in our Dynasty League. I grabbed him. Then he goes Kadarius Toney there in the 11th, followed by Russell Gage. Junon here in the 15th. Simmons in the 16th. Alec Pierce here in the 17th. And Jalen Tolbert in the 18th. So go ahead, man. Martin, why don't you grab this one first? Break it down for us.
I like his receivers. I really do like his receivers. These guys are all definitely wide receiver 2s and higher for sure. Even down to Jalen Tolbert, he has a chance to become like, while Michael Gallup's injured, we don't even know if he's actually coming back right away or if there's like a couple weeks he might. That's his time to shine. So what if he just doesn't insert himself back into it and they just keep Jalen Tolbert there?
Appreciate you, Shane. Thanks for holding me up.
All right.
So I like every single one of these receivers. To be honest, Simmons, you get him late, one of the best DBs in the game. You got him like 16th round. I like that. Yeah. Matthew Judon's always productive. Again, late, but that's really good. Right next to him, get yourself some Fred Warner. So he's definitely one of those guys a lot of people attack early. And Jeremy Chin, I love Jeremy Chin, to be honest. He had a fall from his rookie season. His rookie season exploded, and everyone's like, "Damn, this guy's going to be the truth." Kind of whittled down a little bit, but I think the talent's still there. He's still a good DB, one of the best, and I think he's going to do just fine. But that Sutton Russell, I like with Williams. I like this team, to be honest. And then Josh Allen is a really good defensive lineman / linebacker spot that you can utilize at both spots in case you need to flex that position.
There it is.
Yeah. What about you there, Alex?
I'm gonna start this off by saying this is a D+. But he just mentioned
very nice.
I was gonna put up Shane's thing. Come on.
Oh man, thanks for keeping it real.
I'm good with it.
That's how you do it.
That's
and I know why.
Tell him.
I know exactly why he's gonna say it's a D.
No,
he's a D. I know why it's a D+.
No. I said B+.
Oh, B+. Oh,
all
okay.
right.
No, I said B+. No,
okay.
And I said,
dang it. All right.
So he mentioned all the good things. I mean, your offense is on point. Like, I mean, every phase of it. Now, I'll just nitpick the IDP because Fred Warner, Jeremy Chin. I guess I much rather would have had like a Bobby Wagner, Blake Martinez, Eric Kendricks, like any combo of those two guys really over Warner and Chin. It's not that I don't like Warner. He's more of just like a high-end LB2 because I think he's had one top 12 finish, but he's usually finishing 14 to 17, like somewhere kind of in the teens somewhere. He's solid, but their line is so good. Maybe that's why he doesn't you know, he doesn't really get too many sacks or anything. He's solid, but there's maybe too many good players around him to where he's not like the overall tackling monster on that team. And then you didn't even need Jeremy Chin, necessarily, because you got Simmons all the way at the end. You only have one DB spot, so that's super good value on him. You get another LB right there, then you're going to be a little bit more heavy on the LBs.
Shane
and then
my back. Go ahead.
And then maybe you get a better linebacker somewhere, besides Judon to put in your flex. But like Josh Allen, where you got him, probably could have got him a little later, but that's where I would nitpick, because I like everything on there, and the IDP is still solid, what you put together.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Like, well done, thanks. For me, Fred Warner, I mean, as much as
I'm not gonna hate it.
No, not at all. But for as much as you were talking about the D line for San Francisco, they lost a ton on that D line, in free agency. They for that group, it's gonna be a rough go. And on top of that, they also lost a ton of safety and DB help, where they're not as strong as they used to be. And he's probably one of the best cover linebackers out there. So I viewed it in that context, in the context that he probably will have more interceptions than most linebackers. He'll probably, he'll be lined up against tight ends more often than not, in man coverage. So I'm not against it. That's why I went with him. Chin was more of a Chin was just more for Martin. I was just trying to get Martin, just trying to get him all riled up. And then I
bet Martin probably wanted him in that same range.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, he was looking at him here. I remember him talking about him around this
maybe
area.
Yeah, we were talking about
I had to. I was just like, what?
I probably would have got him probably the next round or so. Yeah, roughly around there.
I mean, for my own criticism, the only thing that I did a lot here is I took a lot of Denver. I basically took their whole offense. If you really look at it, I took Williams, I took Sutton, I took I took the whole team. I do not suggest that.
Someone will hit.
Someone will definitely hit.
If the whole trio hits, because they're all going.
Now you're banging, yeah.
I got the whole. No, I had the quad on that one.
Yeah, and Russ.
And Melvin Gordon.
I had Gordon in there
Simmons.
Too.
Okay, yeah.
Well, for that, I would start them week 1 for sure against Seattle, and then you'll have like an immaculate game that week.
So and then I'll be able to trade one away and get something good.
So I'm
good with
we get off to a good
week
start.
Week 1's against Seattle.
Dang, out of 18 rounds, 5 Broncos on there. I like
and it's crazy. I didn't even plan that. I just saw the player and I'm like, I like this guy, and I just went boom. And I love this Sutton and Wilson stack. I try to get it in any best ball league I can. And then on top of that, same thing with Melvin Gordon. I try to grab him everywhere if I don't end up getting Williams, who I never thought I'd get in the top of the second or the middle of the second round for this type of setup. So I'll take it. I should have went Barkley, but I don't know.
Can't be too much of a homer, right?
No, I can't be.
Personal question, since I have these IDP minds here.
Sure.
Just real quick, I want to ask you guys: does Ward make a difference on our defense here in the Niners? Davis Ward. Is he going to help us fill a little hole we have there?
Charvarius Ward, he is. He's an upgrade from what was there. I know the corners were probably like one of the weaker spots.
Garbage, yeah. All right.
He's been solid. He's been solid on the Chiefs. He's been there for a few years.
Yeah. Ward's okay. He's not the best.
All right. Well, we'll take it, I guess. We'll see.
I told you they're real weak on the safeties. Like their safety and their D-backs are just hurt. I can't stand.
You don't have to tell me about it, Mike. I seen it happen against LA. We couldn't cover anybody.
Who's their corner now? I forget who's their top corner. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. And if the fact that you can't remember it, who's their top corner right now?
No
for
idea.
San Francisco. Yeah,
no idea off the top of my head.
Is it Brock?
So it is Ward who's listed as their top now, but Mosley.
That was the other thought. Mosley, and then don't they have a Brooks or a Yeah. See, if I can't name one of your D-backs other than I just
Jason Barrett was that other one. They still have him listed. I don't know if they re-signed him or not yet.
Yeah. So they're just weak there. You're gonna have a rough time.
All right, I'll prepare.
Thankfully, they're gonna be facing Drew Lock, 2 times a year.
That'll be good.
You're good.
All right, let's do it. All right, so we'll move on. Nice team, Mike. Very well done. Show
Thank
the
you,
people how
sir.
to do it. Well done. Well done. So let's where is it? Go Pack Go. Oh, Shane,
Yeah.
we got a Packers fan here. My wife's a Packers
Packers
fan.
fan from Australia.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
we beat them at least. That was good. But Shane's been holding me up, man. I appreciate you, Shane. That's good stuff. He's had my back this whole show. All right. So we got we got Brandon in the house, man.
Yes, sir.
Brandon's been here with us before. We got him drafted in the 9th spot. He goes Justin Jefferson, who I don't know, man. If there could be any, more hype going on around a player
Let's ask this. Alex Martin, you have 3 guys in the top. Cooper
Just
Kupp,
rank them. Yeah.
Chase, Jefferson, rank them.
What's your rank?
Kupp, Jefferson, Chase.
Really? Okay. I would put Chase above them all, and then Kupp, and then JJ.
Okay.
Interesting.
The top 3 are so subjective, though. That's why
I know. That's why I'm asking. I had to ask that question.
Where
because
were you
everyone's
at, then, Mike? Because I'm different from both of those.
Oh no, I know you're gonna have Jefferson up at the top.
Yeah, I have Jefferson, Kupp, Chase.
I'll probably be going Chase, Kupp, and then Jefferson, and that's
Wow, we're all 4 different.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
We got them
There
boys
you
in
go.
there going Kupp.
Me and them
JJ,
boys are on
Chase.
the
All
same.
right, so you guys are there.
I only think that
Where you
because
at,
of
Shane? Rank him,
yeah.
Shane. He'll get in here.
I don't know, man. I just feel as it like I understand that Chase has a ridiculously low floor compared to all of these guys. I think
upside is banging,
but his upside is higher than all of them, and that's including Kupp. And I think Kupp, as good as he is, will regress, of course, and then it just makes it hard for me to go for him to be 1. I don't know.
You know what's going to be so crazy is Kupp can regress in all 3 categories and still be the number 1 wide.
I agree.
Yeah.
I know. I saw that. I saw that stat too. I was like, oh,
like 1,800, 18.
What did he have?
Like...
I think he was 60 points. It was 60-point difference from the front to the back, or first to the second. I think it was
something like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. For me, it was they upgraded the line on the Bengals. It was a big they focused this offseason. Well, that's why they were going to do last season. They focused it now this season in the offseason to upgrade it. So I feel like Joey B is going to have a little more time back there than what we already thought wasn't there.
And then you have Higgins, who's a top talent, with Boyd, who's a good underneath. There's just so many good things that's going to happen with this particular offense.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, let's get back to Brandon. And on top of that, I wanted to let you guys know he talked to me beforehand. And this is his first IDP, so he's never done one before.
Welcome to IDP.
Yeah, so I wanted to actually know how you guys felt about this team once we read through it, because I think
I'm ready. I'm ready to nitpick this one. I've already seen the flaws that I want to.
Oh, then go for it.
Perfect. Go ahead. Just break it down. Oh yeah, here, I'll read it off real quick. Let me read it off. All right, so we got Justin Jefferson, which started all that nonsense. Then he goes DeAndre Swift, Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, Darren Waller, Matt Stafford. Then follows that up with Bosa and Wagner as his 2 IDPs off the board, followed by Cooks as his wide receiver 3. Then grabs Diggs as his DB. Follows that up with Rashad Penny, Ronald Jones down here in the 12th. Then goes Chris Olave in the 13th, Hutchinson in the 14th, Naeem Hines here in the 15th, and then Gardner in the 16th. Barrett in the 17th, and Johan Dotson here in the 18th. So go ahead, Hustler.
This guy does
tell us about it.
Okay, this is a draft of like really great real life football players on defense. Not the best necessarily for fantasy. Now, Joey Bosa, not that he's not the best. You probably could have waited on him. Probably should have gone with one of like these top tier linebackers, before. Love the Bobby Wagner pick right there. I mean, I even said it should have been classic Mike picking Wagner, over Warner. Diggs, he's going to regress and he doesn't get a lot of tackles. So, I mean, that's just the thing about him is he's going to go down in points, and he's probably not
a lot.
By a lot, because teams are just going to automatically just switch cover or throwing to the other side.
Yeah. And he doesn't get tackles. He either gets he's a guy, he hits a home run or he strikes out.
Yeah, I agree.
So he's not that guy for fantasy. Same with Sauce Gardner. Like Sauce Gardner is going to be one of those guys. Like he's not going to be a good fantasy guy. I'd much rather have Justin Simmons or Tyrann Mathieu, literally the 2 picks, right after that. Hutchinson will be all right, but one of those things where maybe he starts a little slow, or maybe he has rookie woes, in the middle of the season when teams start double teaming him or things like that. And Shaq Barrett, pretty solid, but I probably would have went a different way for the flex. A lot of range of outcomes. These are like a lot of boom bust, like fantasy guys.
Who's the guy in Tampa, the other linebacker that they have, number 5? The young kid, rookie or second-year player. Forgot the guy's name off the top of my head.
Wasn't it Joe?
It's a long name. I just always forget how to say it.
Damn. That's a let me.
I was gonna ask because he is kind of stepping into that role.
He's got the long ass name, right? Tyrann Shoyinka.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a name that I know I can't pronounce unless you're John Smith. I'm not pronouncing it right. But at this, I'm just saying he's a big addition to that team that's going to be staying. I know Todd Bowles running that defense with Shaq Barrett in general. Shaq Barrett is a animal on the outside, and this other kid is just as good on that other side. I like him. He looks like he's just got that something like. When you're watching and you're just like, holy shit, why is this guy not getting covered? Because he's just ripping through defense or ripping through the O line and just getting into everything. I don't know. He's someone that you should definitely keep your eye on.
Yeah.
It also helps though that him and Vita Vea kind of have this thing going. Like if you have a good DL, and you learn each other really well, it's easy for the linebacker to produce. Like I've been watching the way he plays. So I mean I agree with what you said.
Yeah. Now I want to go back to this again for our beginning first time or getting back into it players. How you mentioned going away from bigger players that by name, especially in that DB position, like a Diggs, because if they're not getting tackles, they're not accumulating those stats. He had a home run season, with those type of things, but that's not what you can count on in fantasy. So the same thing is true for those kind of shutdown quarters like your Jalen Ramseys, your Jair Alexanders, these type of guys. Are these guys that if you're first getting an IDP and you see them there on the draft board, you might want to take them because it's a name but really you have to really dive into those stats and understand how the fantasy scoring, because these guys aren't really actually scoring points because no one's throwing to them because they are so good at their job, right?
Yeah. It's just like just like nose tackles and the DTs, the guys who may take up, 3 offensive linemen.
Aaron Donald, right?
Well, I mean, Aaron Donald's a little different. He routes.
He's a cheat code too. Okay.
Yeah, no.
But a lot of these defensive tackles, they're just not racking up a lot of tackles.
No.
They're doing a lot for the game of the NFL.
They're doing the dirty work, right?
Yeah. In the trench.
Yeah, they basically take on the double teams to make it for the linebacker to get through. Exactly. I mean, the biggest thing or biggest comp I can remember for the DB part that you just talked about. Remember Namdi Asamoah when he got the money and everyone like it was after like his monster year, and then all of a sudden teams didn't target him at all.
Yep.
Yeah, I think about that, especially the DL spot. Like one of my favorite linemen last season was Sebastian Joseph Day or something like that. Right next to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald took on most of the work, and that guy went through and got himself, the points. And a lot of people didn't really know who he was. Why? Because Aaron Donald was the face of that D line. But for IDP purposes, he made some plays here, like getting himself at a good waiver wire. I remember mentioning him a couple of times last season.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then Boys is right. Slot corners are the only ones that do much in fantasy. I try to only go for safety for the DB spot. And honestly, that's the only way to go for it. I mean, you can't really go anywhere else. I mean, if you Diggs was a rookie in the beginning, so teams were targeting him here and there. I would rather go for the second DB for especially I'm just going to name Cowboys because we're sticking to Diggs.
Boys' question, yeah.
Well, for me,
Or
Brown is the definite option there. I
Yeah.
mean, Brown
You
is.
want the trash DB.
I
of
want
the
the
two on
trash
the
DB.
team.
I want
Right.
Eli Apple. I want those guys because they're going to target them over and over again. You hear it in the broadcast. Oh, they're going to go after this kid because of A, B, and C. Well, guess what? He's on my team next week. Like, that's where you should be looking for any of your particular D-backs, other than, of course, safety, which are a little bit more consistent.
If you're going cornerback, you got to get those slot cornerbacks.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Kenny Moore is like, the prime example, that he finished as the number 1 DB last year, and it's usually not a cornerback, but he's getting so many tackles. He had over 100 solo tackles. Like, it was just insane.
Wasn't he outside though? I thought he played outside. He's a slot guy.
Yeah, he's played more slot snaps at cornerback than anybody over the last 4 years.
And that's what threw me off, because I just always seen him. He was always around the damn ball, so you always just thought that he was playing outside because they're throwing to the top guy on the slot. And I'm like, but it makes sense. I mean, he's playing that strong role of just following following the top guy anywhere, so he can play any spot. I'm good with that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys got on this team here, or are we ready to move on this one?
Looks good.
That was good stuff,
I mean, I think
you're
looks
dropping
good
the knowledge right here. I love it. I can't wait to go back and listen to this episode myself.
Yeah.
This is good stuff, guys. All right, so we'll move on. We got the 10th spot here. We got Spitta 2X here drafted in the 10. Anyone want to break this one down? Martin, you want to go ahead and break this one down, man?
Damn, I lost it.
You got the screen up?
All right, I accidentally closed it out, but I'll look here. So they got Derrick Henry, CD Lamb, Joe Burrow, George Kittle, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Mitchell. So they went basically offense, pretty much, first 6 picks, which is essentially what you want to do. I mean, okay. I don't like getting my IDPs until later rounds, anyways. So that's what I like. Here's where I don't like. I'm not big on Isaiah Simmons, even though he was a top dog prospect that came out and he was supposed to be the next big thing. But man, he did not show his rookie year. Last season, he's barely making anything. So I mean, he's still talented. Hopefully this season he can make it. I would have picked someone else over him easily. I don't think he's one of those guys I even go after, to be honest. But so I don't know if that's too mean to say, but I'm honestly not sorry. Then you got Mooney, still productive, and then Donald. That guy's that's on his own tier of himself. And then another linebacker. So I don't like his linebacker.
Aaron Donald ain't human. So
not at all.
He ain't human.
He still produces. He's
3
dudes
like
on him. He'll still get a
too.
stack. It's ridiculous.
He's like 6'1", and he's just an animal. He's a small dude compared. I mean, he's a big dude. Don't get me wrong. He's swole. But the thing is that he's a small dude. Compared to
for when
everyone
it comes
around
to defensive line, for sure.
It's crazy.
So moving on with that, we got Patrick Queen, another guy. I don't think I would ever try drafting right there. Honestly, I would have just wait. He hasn't shown me what he just hasn't shown me what a linebacker one would do for me. He's shown flashes of it, but he's not the guy. And then Chase Edmonds, Hopkins, Ramsey, Patrick Surtain. So Ramsey was, for the first time ever, actually became IDP relevant last year.
Yeah.
Most years hasn't done anything. He was one of those guys. He was so good at his job that nobody picked him. But I think they changed the scheme up last season where Ramsey was actually in the box more.
Yeah.
So which changed up a lot of his percent. He was getting a lot more tackles. Again, another guy probably would have passed up on just because I don't know if they're going to do that again. But Patrick Surtain, I think he's probably my only guy here that I actually think I would grab here this late. But even then, I still think you can grab other guys. I mean, Simmons was still available. I would have grabbed him instead. So Kirk, McKissick, Galladay, Von Miller. This team, I'm sorry, but it's I'm not liking it. He started good with his offense, but then it just kind of fell down after Simmons for me.
Yeah, same. Not a fan too much of this team here. Just like Martin was saying, I mean, Isaiah Simmons and Patrick Queen, I mean, I'd be a little bit nervous. Maybe that's more of a dynasty stack than a redraft stack. Just a lot of question marks there on those guys. I do like Ramsey. I mean, from what they showed last year, and teams aren't scared to target him anymore. Yeah. Patrick Surtain, I mean, I would have picked someone different. there. But yeah, I mean, the offense is nice. I mean, I'm not the biggest like Elijah Mitchell like fan, but I mean, getting him where he got him wasn't too bad. But yeah, the IDPs, I definitely just would have went a different direction with those guys.
Now, can I ask one question for Patrick Surtain? In the context that he's going to be facing this year, I mean, probably one of the best or three of the best offenses that are, arguably in the NFL all year. I mean, he's facing them twice. He's going to be facing, Oakland. He's going to be facing, the Chargers. He's facing the Chiefs. So he's going to be going against some high-end talent this year. Is he still not someone you're going to be, targeting on, just for the fact that he's going to be going against these really decent, really good wide receivers and groups of offense?
It's his sophomore year, man. I don't know. I know what I'm getting out of Justin Simmons on the other side. Surtain is it's coming on a sophomore season, so I feel like we're gonna rethink about what he like last year. He had that return, and it was towards the back end. I would have waited, to be honest.
Okay, no, that's fair.
And we are talking about, I mean, yeah, some high-powered offenses, but also like four of the best QBs, in the league, like right now as well. So, I mean, I don't think any one of those guys is going to be giving up a shit ton of interceptions.
Fair.
Yeah. So, I mean, Patrick Surtain, I'm just skipping over him. There's just no reason to grab him right there over some other guys. Like I took Jalen Thompson, like almost damn near 2 rounds later, and Jalen Thompson was
I like him.
Top 7 or something last year at the DB position, and their scheme's not changing.
No, not at all. All right, cool. So we can move on to FF season now. I will say, and he even said it too, wasn't drafting outside.
Yeah,
he wasn't drafting outside 1 or 2 of his picks. So we won't go too deep into his team. But are there any of the defensive players or anything that you guys like on this team? There's one question mark in my opinion with Chase Young in there. I understand that he's coming back from injury. Have you guys heard anything about his progression, or if he's going to be even ready for day one, or if he's going to be starting on PUP?
I'm avoiding him at all costs.
Okay.
I really am. He's just gone way too high, and he really hasn't done anything other than get drafted as high as he did, to really warrant this kind of draft capital in a redraft league.
Yeah. If I were to get him, and I would take a stab at him only if I know if IR is available to me. If I could draft a guy on IR, maybe, and then just keep him there. But that's probably one of those guys. It's like I'll get someone else.
Okay, no, that's fair, and that's why I was asking that question, because he was such a high, draft capital that, that Washington line is just, I mean, bunch of first rounders on that thing, with Payne and Sweat, Allen, everything. Like they have one of the best lines, defensive lines in the game. So that's why I had to ask that, because he was a talent. I see the talent, and he definitely he shucks those left tackles and right tackles a ton. So
the picks that I do like are the Fitzpatrick, Buckner, and
he's a dog, right?
Yeah, Fitzpatrick is an animal. Like.
And then what about Buckner? I did just pick him up recently on my dynasty team. So
yeah, those three that he went, Fitzpatrick, Buckner, and Holcomb. Those are the 3 picks that I like.
Yeah. I like how he got Holcomb and JOK that late too.
Yeah. I mean, Buckner's that good though. I mean, we were just talking about defensive tackles to be that good. I mean, is he the exception to the rule, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I mean, he just gets a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really what it is with him. I mean, he's not just a guy going after the quarterback and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely a two-way player. He can do both.
Yeah.
That's why he was such a huge talent on on San Francisco when he was over there. I mean, when they basically had what Washington had. They had those 3-4 first round picks that were insane. With Armstead and him and who was the other guy? I forgot. It don't matter.
Well,
Anyway,
it's kind of like Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals. Like Sam Hubbard, he's doing both things. I mean, he could drop in coverage, also, and then but Hendrickson, he's just going after the QB. And I mean, if they're both playing like that, let's meet at the QB, game. Like that's when it gets real nasty for the QB.
I'm surprised I didn't see Henderson go off the board. Oh, he did. Never mind. He went off with Titans Life. I was sitting there like, wait, he didn't go off the board. I'm surprised.
It's because you only have one DL spot too. That's another.
Yeah, true.
Now, hold on. I just want to, while we're on that, I just kind of want to see any correlation, with obviously Leonard and Buckner, being in Indianapolis, going up against guys like Derrick Henry, twice a year. Is this why we see these guys that are, in those upper tiers of these IDP leagues? Is that something to pay attention to?
Not really. I mean, not
okay.
Tennessee runs a lot, so they're going to be there, after him. But it really depends too.
One thing that's kind of hurt
stuff like that. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
One thing that's kind of hurt Darius Leonard is Buckner coming over, because ever since he came over, he's kind of been declining, and it's just because when you got a guy up front who's stealing tackles from you, it's just less tackles that get to the second level.
And they normally line up on Buckner is not one to stay in one spot. They run like a 4-3 hybrid where he can go left or he can be on the left side or right side. And, Darius plays more of I don't want to label him as an LT guy, but he can play either side of the line and middle linebacker too. I first thought he was middle linebacker, and then I saw that he was labeled as outside linebacker. I'm like, what? He can do it all. And like you guys were saying, they probably line up a lot on the same side just to work with whatever the team is giving them. So I get that.
It's going to be interesting with them with Kwity Paye coming in and
Kwity Paye.
Ngakoue now.
Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of cooks in that kitchen. So sometimes it doesn't pan out for the linebackers.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to Alex's team now. We'll let Martin break his team down since he broke down.
I won this draft.
Oh no, I'm going to say right out, you killed this draft. Favorite team already. I'm just calling it.
I'm looking at this right away. Obviously, he focused on the run game, kind of like what I was saying. These linebackers definitely they drop like flies. Yeah. So I'm liking his running backs for sure. I mean, even Dylan he's almost considered up there with Jones nowadays. Like last season, he showed that forth. So I'm liking his running backs for sure. Aljair, late pick. That guy could possibly definitely get some runs in. We never know. I mean, for being that late, I like it.
I think he takes it.
Top 20 upside, would you say?
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, not for the season, but I mean, maybe a couple.
Well, I mean, the back half of the year, right? He could
maybe
kind of back half top 20.
Yeah.
Nice little.
I'm liking what Aljair brings.
Low in RB2.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 6 running backs, so I think he'll be all right.
No, yeah, for sure. And
that's where I'm going. Every other team
right there. That's trade bait right there.
And ultimately, man, when it comes down to fantasy, running backs are really hard to get.
I agree.
So I like what he did here. As for IDP, I love Logan Wilson. He's one of my favorites. Perriman, Cunningham. God, I hope he bounces back. I really hope he's such a talented linebacker. But last year was a really freaking odd year for him. So I'm hoping he bounces back with Tennessee. He should be the main linebacker there. Hayward, this one, I'm shocked. I did not see this guy while drafting. I'm so
nobody sees that he always goes this late.
His ADP is
I was so
low.
mad I didn't see him there. He is easily one of the top 5. I'm surprised.
You take out Micah Parsons and TJ Watt. He finished the top DL last year.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not see him there. I when he drafted him, I'm like, dude, really? I went with freaking Daniel Hunter, which is not bad either. Hopefully he does good, but I did not see Hayward there. So that I was like, damn. So he went offense. Again, we've mentioned this before. Offense is kind of what you want to get your bread and butter. Those score touchdowns all the time. Mm-hmm. So he focused on that. Got himself Tom Brady, got the GOAT. Nothing wrong with that. Lazard, that's an interesting one. I mean, people forget he's 6'5", 220. He's going to be the number one guy
He's an
there.
animal.
Like you say about Watson, yeah, I know they brought him in, but again, Rodgers has been playing with this guy for years. He's going to be the guy. The only one is I don't like Hardman. I'm not big on Hardman. I really don't like the guy. I'm sorry. I felt like he could.
All right, Nate,
he could do better.
Let's rank the Chiefs. Who are we going with?
Juju, MVS, Sky Moore,
MVS,
and Hardman.
Juju,
so what's the order?
Yeah,
Sky Moore. Probably. I look, Hardman he's been there for years, and I feel like if you've already been there this long and you're still lingering around wide receiver 3, like what I don't know if they have any really big plans for him.
Just for context, I did.
But he is your last pick.
65.
He is your last pick. I don't know.
Nice. I love that.
Come on now. The only reason why I'm bringing that up is because this is a really big controversy in the context of Juju getting drafted really high. Then we got MVS getting drafted really low. And everyone's like, oh my God, I have the steal of the draft. And then, you know, people are getting more later or like before MVS. And then the, same argument goes. That's why I'm asking, how would you rank these particular guys, in my opinion? Like for me, it's Juju, it's Hardman, MVS, and then Moore. And I think it's because of the fact that I think Juju has a higher floor than all of them. And does MVS have a high ceiling? Yes, but I don't think it's where it will affect the floor of anybody. So that's just me, though. What about you, Alex?
I think it's Hardman, Juju, Moore, and then MVS.
Okay.
But Patrick Mahomes is going to spread the field.
True.
The one thing that I do like about Hardman, they drafted him. If you remember when
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, yes. When all that bullshit was going on, but then Tyreek, the drama didn't happen or whatever, didn't get suspended, so he signs the team-friendly deal.
I remember that.
Look at the playoff game last year with Hardman when he had that nasty game. Look at the games that Tyreek Hill, missed. Like Hardman was in the mix. That's all I'm saying. So if I can get him that late, I just want a late piece of that Chiefs offense.
No, and that's like I said, he's your last pick, so it's not bad.
Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't.
I'm going to give you guys my order: Hardman, Justin Ross, MVS, Juju.
Damn, spicy.
Sky Moore.
Okay,
let's go.
Interesting. I can't get on board. I'm sorry.
No, I love grabbing Justin Ross and late in my best balls, man.
No, best ball I can.
He's one of my last favorite picks to grab there. Again, just like you said, with your last pick, just grab a piece of that Chiefs offense, whatever one's left, just grab them.
Yeah, I was doing that with the Bills.
But my favorite pick here, though, honestly, is this Higgins one here at the 3rd. I had a Bengals episode not too long ago, and I talked about him being he's being, or my bad, I scrolled down, but yeah, at the 4th. That's still, I mean,
that's
right now he's my dynasty buy. He really is.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to cost you a whole ton like he is on freaking like Jamar is. That guy's going to cost you the house.
Yeah.
Higgins probably won't be that bad to costly wise. Even Boyd, I definitely want one of these,
Boyd late.
These Bengals offense, because like I said, they upgraded the line, and if Burrow can get more time, and he's a talented dude.
Progressions,
he's going to definitely get Higgins somewhere.
I'm so in on the Bengals this year.
Me too.
That's such a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Right?
No, honestly, I literally, for best ball, Joe Mixon is probably the only guy I own. And like over and over and over and over again, like I very rarely get Higgins, and it's only because I grab one of the two of them beforehand. Like I'll grab Chase as, if I get like a 4th pick or something like that in best ball, something like that. I'll go him before I go Higgins, but I love Higgins. I think Higgins is probably, I love that pick. I love the Jacobs pick right after, how you're able to have him after that. I mean, just having the group that you did is incredible. I mean, this is definitely the best team out of all of them.
I don't know how all those picks kept falling to me, because I'm mad that this is a mock draft, because I wish that
this was your team.
And any of these leagues could go like this.
Oh man, believe me, I think a lot of people wish that all their leagues went like that, because and grabbing Goddard as late as you did and where you got him. I mean, you got him before guys that I wouldn't even think, like you killed it, as always.
And again, let's not let's not overlook. We got a new one in, but let's not overlook that Lazard's going to be Rogers' go-to man.
No, for sure.
Let's not overlook that one either. But
what
that's
about
good
Robert
stuff.
Tonyan?
I will not get behind the Bob Tonyan.
Oh, come on.
To the moon.
Bobby T.
Come on.
That was such an outlier year for him.
Baby
Rodgers,
Kittle. Come on. He's the little Kittle.
Tight end. That's the problem that I have with Rodgers. He never throws to the tight end.
I think Lazard takes that a lot of those touchdowns that Adams had. Like I think he gets a good portion of those because he already had a good touchdown share last year, even with Adams there.
Red zone.
That's what. Yeah. Again, 6'4", 6'5". I mean, come on.
Well, that was my other thing about that is that I know that people say that that Rodgers never really threw to the tight end, but guys like Jermichael Finley, who were big back in the when he was there, James Cook when he was actually doing well and had that huge catch against the Cowboys. Oh yeah, sorry about that, then boys. Knocked him out.
That's fire.
But my point is that he loves targeting Mercedes Lewis, who's 40 years old at this point and still catching touchdowns. My whole point is that he does look for the tight end. It's just less likely that they're open because they're so horrible. And he had Stanberger last year as his number one tight end for half the year. Yeah. So I understand where the argument is not to go with Tonyan, but Tonyan, when he was there and actually was producing before, last season, the season before that, he actually did okay. And I understand it was the touchdowns and he did, that big 3 touchdown game and whatever. He was still in line to be the next guy, and Rodgers liked him. And we all know that if you're in Rodgers' good graces, you're going to get the ball. So I wouldn't say sleep on him, but at the same time, I wouldn't say like go after him. It's one of those like lukewarm things where if you're going to go punt tight end and wait until the last round, then go for Tonyan. Like he's one of those guys. Like
I'd rather take my shot on Hurst or Hooper.
Well, I was just going to say Hurst, Hooper, or
Everett.
Everett. Those
Hurst
are my
kind of that big sleeper I'm looking at too.
Yeah,
I think it's because the tight ends are so trashed that when like a couple guys produce for a couple weeks, it's like we get on that hype train.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
It is what it is. I mean, we got Den Boys going. Tonyan is my projection for the most end zone targets on Green Bay, though. Hey, man,
he was also saying he thinks Jones gets more of those short passing touchdowns.
Oh, for sure, that's gonna happen.
We'll probably see that uptick with AJ Dillon. Maybe they go a little run heavy more. There. Again, don't forget about the weather, especially deep in the year. It's nice to have those running backs in bad weather areas. Where again, it's vice versa to have those better quarterbacks and wide receivers in those domes and West Coast games. And then Shane saying, don't sleep on Christian Watson either, guys. He was taken here with FF Season's team. That's why we didn't really touch on him. But again, you're going to always hear it. Rodgers doesn't throw to rookies or guys he doesn't trust. So again, redraft, maybe not worth a draft pick, but keep your eye on him. I mean, he is attached to a top quarterback.
They traded up for him. The whole thing is that he's just a raw talent. Like he's a good player, but he's just so raw that for him to step into that main role right away, I doubt it. They did trade up and gave him, have draft capital in him, but
Watson's going to be like the perfect guy to get off the waiver wire because someone's going to draft him.
Yeah.
They're going to get pissed off at him. They're going to drop him and then just be ready to pick him up.
That happens every year with these rookies, though. They always they don't do anything at the beginning, and people are like, "Oh, he's just a roster clogger week after week." By the time they get to week 6, they're tired of it. And then week 9 comes around, and then they use the rookies. It's like, well, you had them, but
it's like Rondale Moore. Though.
Thanks, like I have him now.
He's just a taller Rondale Moore, in my opinion. Like I don't know. I could be wrong. Everyone was so hyped up on Rondale Moore, and then all of a sudden, he had one decent game, and then everyone goes for him, and then disappears off the face of the earth. So
every receiver this year is taller than last year's receivers. Jeez, a bunch of shorties last year,
and they're in the best shape.
Anyone's taller than Rondale Moore, who's like 5'9". So I'm just trying to, play off the context that they were rookies that were coveted by everybody, and then all of a sudden just disappear. So yeah,
good
That's
stuff.
Just me, though.
Good stuff. All right, man. Well, hey. I think we've hope we didn't overstay our welcome here, man. Appreciate you guys for coming on and doing this. This was awesome to just hear and partake in and have just kind of a different conversation. We do these mocks every week. Of course, we're kind of breaking down the same guys, especially in a week where not really much happened, in the NFL. It was definitely nice, well timed to be able to come talk about these defensive guys that we don't get to hear a lot about. So again, we appreciate you guys for that, taking your time on Friday, as well as coming back here again tonight. For those of you guys who don't know, again, Alex, 420 Hustler, go to the description, check him out. He's in there, as well as Martin over here holding it down with the Dynasty Pylon, as you see there. Again, check the description. You can find all this stuff there. And again, I'll turn it over to you guys for those who weren't joining in the very beginning. Tell us again a little bit about yourselves, where we can find you, and what you guys got going on. So, Alex, take it away first this time.
fantasyfootballhustler.com. You can get to all my links if you go there. I'm going to be starting a bunch of leagues, so get into the VIP crew on Patreon. That's the very top link that you can click on. Super interactive community. I mean, we're doing mocks all the time. I'm starting leagues all the time, and a lot of the non-conventional leagues that people either too scared to start or they don't know how to start it. So yeah, these vampire leagues, guillotine leagues, 3 QB leagues. We're doing a 32 team league that's just going to be really insane. And it's not like these ones that you hear with 3 copies of every player, or like you only have players from one team. Like, no, this is going to be a legit 32 team league.
Nice. Very nice. All right, man. Again, follow him. The 420 Hustler. Again, check the description, subscribe, go over there. Now, Martin, take it away, brother. Tell us.
Well, I mean, I'm not as fancy as a fantasy hustler. I still feel new to the game. I've been in for a while, just doing dynasty style, IDP style on my YouTube channel. That's Dynasty Pylon. I guess the biggest thing right now really is I have a guillotine league going right now, and it's IDP. And the winner of that's basically getting a jersey. So, I mean, I'm doing football content all the time. I love football, and just come out and hang out with me, honestly.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
man.
Martin is probably, for those who don't, haven't really been on YouTube or anything like that, you guys should be checking out Martin. He literally is, he's up every day and doing something, and he's one of the hardest working guys I've seen on here, honestly. He does a lot of his own content, a lot of the stuff that he does. He works and edits, and he was showing me stuff before the show, and just in general, he works his ass off, and he's, very underappreciated for what he does. Make sure you guys checking him out and
show that love,
like
man.
and subscribe. He's definitely one of the guys working his tail off, and especially in a very unsaturated market with IDP. I mean, no one really is covering it as much. I mean, beyond the IDP guys and stuff like that. But he is one of those guys that are right there, that are really working and knows his stuff, and definitely grinds hard, as them boys says right here.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check him out.
Them boys.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely one of Martin's biggest supporters, and I love going on the show all the time with you guys, and talking football and talking defense and all that stuff. So definitely check
awesome,
him out.
Defense is where it's at. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Is where it's at.
Yeah. We had to go out and find the 2 hardest working guys to bring to you guys, man. This is what we do here at Get Right Fantasy, man. If we don't know it, we'll go find the people that do, and we'll bring it to you so you can dominate those leagues, man. Tell your friends, like and subscribe to the channel, support the network, support our network here, support these guys, man. Let them grow. Let's do this thing, and we'll all be here for each other, man. Let's win those championships, bring home the hardware.
You want to tell them about this week?
Stay tuned. Yeah, so stay tuned for next week, man. We got a special guest in the house for next week's Friday Night Mocks. We got Dave Kluge coming in with us, man. So we're pretty excited about that. For those of you guys who don't know, go follow his Twitter, check him out. I'm sure we have that video, posted there. Info's there. But again, we're bringing you guys back another Friday Night Mocks. We'll come in here. We'll grade them again next week. And again, we'll keep bringing you guys, of course, Hustler, Martin. We're going to have you guys back again. Like always, man. I love doing this thing with you guys. And with that said, man, unless there's anything else, as you guys know, I'm just the fantasy roster over here. I got my boy Classic Mike, for Dustin, for Frank, man, from all of us here in the Get Right Nation. Again, thanks to everybody. Big shout out to Shane, our new subscriber here. Everyone coming over from the Hustler. What is it? The Hustler Nation. What do you call your crew over there? What are they, Hustler?
We're the 420 crew.
Oh, the 420 crew. So there they are, man. So welcome everybody from the 420 crew. He helps us out, posting it in his Facebook page. Over 70,000 members there. So again, support each other, man. We're here for you guys. And let's do this thing, man. I guess we can roll those sleeves down, man. We're done. We'll get out and get on with our week, man. Peace out.
Later.
Take us out, Mike.